What's happening, people? Nocturnal in the building. Little wabi sabi. I got my one little gray hair that comes in and it goes away and it comes in and goes away. What's happening with all my nocturnals, my insomniacs? As you can see, bright and early in the morning. I'm a day late and $1 short, but I wanted to make a real quick video for Mother's Day. Real quick story about my mom Dukes. Um, One of my favorite stories. You know, she was fearless. My mom's was fearless, man. You got to know what kind of cloth you might be cut from. But my mom's, man, she wasn't perfect. By no means. Every rose has a thorn, you know. But this is one thing that I will never forget. I grew up in Decatur, Georgia, on Tilson Road. Tilson Road kind of shot off of Candler Road. And anybody that knows about the infamous Candler Road car wash, when they built that, it was catty corner to my backyard, so it was pretty much in my backyard. When they first built it, when we would look over our backyard, it was nothing but mud back there. And then they built the car wash, and the car wash turned into a just a heavy drug spot. And it was just a place where it was almost like a drive-through crack spot, you know, where you had fiends, dope heads would be up there washing cars and making transactions, and all the dope boys would come through with their cars, get their car washed, and make their business transactions. Well, being that it was pretty much or practically in my backyard, what the people that built the car wash did was they put up a privacy fence along the back of the car wash, and they planted a little bit of shrubbery that was supposed to grow up to create a barrier and to create like pretty much create a small forest separating my backyard from the car wash. But they were little tree shrubs at the time, so you could see straight through to the fence. And the fence was like on a little hill, so it was definitely to where when we would go in our backyard and play, all you would see was the back of this car wash fence. And basically what the fiends would do was the fiends would come back in our backyard, and they would smoke they would smoke crack pretty much. And what they did was they took a little plank out of the fence to create like a little, you know, passageway, and then they would put the plank back, so it created a privacy between them and looking at Candler Road. So you would just get little clusters of dope heads that would be pretty much in our backyard smoking crack. And this is when we were little kids. Now, this is how fierce my mom was. My mom, our kitchen sink had a window over it, and it was facing the backyard. We had a basketball rim in our backyard that we made. You know what I'm saying? We made out of wood. But the whole street, all the neighborhood kids would be in my backyard sometimes, just shooting ball and hanging out. And we were all little kids. This was back when I was, you know, 5th and 6th, 7th grade or whatever. So we was just little kids. And all the neighborhood kids was around about the same age. So she would be washing dishes or something like that. Let me sit up and stand up. She would be washing dishes or something like that. And she would look out the backyard and she would see something that we seen every day and got used to, but she didn't see this every day. She seen this every once in a while and she would just flip out. But it'd be a little cluster or a couple of fiends or junkies or crackheads or whatever you want to call them, and they would be back in our backyard, you know what I'm saying, smoking off a glass pipe. And when she would see this, my arm is getting tired. When she would see this, she would run outside and she would confront this crackhead like like a lion is protecting her cubs and all the other neighborhood kids. She would come outside and she would be like, y'all need y'all need Jesus. Don't you see these kids back here trying to play basketball and y'all want to smoke this, these drugs and smoke this crack in front of these kids? Y'all going to hell. And we would be like, Mom, yo, chill out, calm down. These is crackheads, they don't care. Because we knew that, we was used to it. It was every day. It was an everyday thing. We would see just a group of crackheads that would be like, one group would leave, another group would come. This would be the whole day. The whole time we'd be back there playing games, playing basketball, playing catch, or whatever with the football. It would always be a constant flow of crackheads. My mom couldn't stand it. She would be pissed. She would take little post-it notes, because my mom was religious. She would take little post-it notes and she would write little notes about saving your soul and rebuking the devil and repenting your sins. And she would go back there to the fence and she would post these little notes back there for these crackheads to change their life around. Like, yo, y'all smoking crack in front of these kids. Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need to change y'all life. I remember one time, look, she had us getting ready to go to church. And you know how when you was a little kid, you didn't want to go to church. You would run outside so you could prolong it as long as possible. We was outside in the backyard hanging out, me and my brother. And just like any other day, man, this dude come back there. He started sparking up his little pipe and he back there smoking. And my mom's came out there. She came out to the back looking for us. She was finna yell at us. You know what I'm saying? She was finna yell at us for not being where we were supposed to be. She seen this crackhead and she just fire. She just was like, I told y'all don't be coming back here smoking this crack in front of my kids. She was like, y'all get in the car. So we get in the car. She's like, what did he have on? Do you remember what he looked like? What was he wearing? She gets us in the car, drives us around to the car wash, and she's driving in a circle around this car wash parking lot. Ain't nothing but dope dealers and crackheads out here. She like, point them out, because she finna go up to him and snap on this dude. My mom was mad confrontational. She was a beast. She was fierce, a lioness. And she's like, which one is it? Which one is it? Me and my brother seen the one it was. He had on like a blue jacket and whatever, crackhead apparel. I'm like, I'm not finna point this mug out to you so you can get out here, embarrass us, or cause bodily harm to yourself. This dude is a crackhead. He don't care you a woman. And we was kids. Now we could scrap. My big brother definitely at that time could scrap and probably would have laid hands, but we not finna take that chance with no crackhead. So we both looking at each other like, don't say nothing. She drove around. She couldn't find him. We was like, pretty much, we don't see him, even though we was looking dead at him. And she pulled off and she went up to church. We went to church. And then I'm just saying, I salute my moms. I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? She had heart. She has heart, because my mom is still here with us. She has heart, and she was courageous, and she wasn't playing that. She was not playing that. That was one of her. She was on a mission. You know what I'm saying? She was on that mission because she knew what kind of condition, what kind of programming are us just, being subjected to that, she knew what kind of effect that could possibly have on us, and she wasn't having it. And she would step up to somebody that was straight sprung out on drugs. My mom would step to in a heartbeat and cuss them out. So forever for that, I will appreciate and respect and always cherish that moment, that thought. So I'm out. Respect to all the mothers out there, and to all you mamas boys. One thing I got to tell y'all, because like I said, this channel will be designated more to the young men out here. So all you mamas boys, grow up, turn into men. You know, stop being tucked up underneath your mom. You know, I moved out my mom's house when I was 14 years old. And I'm going to give y'all one quick tip, one nocturnal thought, then I'm going to peace y'all out. In order for y'all to start becoming more like men, y'all have to start thinking of yourself like men. And one of the first things you can do to stop considering yourself to be a boy is to stop constantly referring to yourself as a boy. If you get on YouTube, now I'm guilty of this to a certain extent because you get programmed, you hear it so much, but I try to make sure that I don't say this every time I open up my video. Is it's your boy, blah say blah blah whoever. Everybody that opens up their YouTube page, the first thing that come out their mouth, it could be a grown man, 40 years old, 50 years old, first thing come out his mouth is, you know who it is, it's your boy. It's your boy this, it's your boy that. Hey, I know you hear it all the time, but sometimes you just have to reprogram your mind and say, yo, if you want to grow up and be a man, how about you just introduce yourself like a man, okay? That's just my tip. If you're trying to grow up, start referring to yourself as a boy so you won't look at yourself as a boy. We men out here, okay? All right, nocturnal thoughts. Peace.